again. Knockout 9 EU. That's how you know. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We've worked it out. Our matches. Let's have a look at what you have here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a lot of Viktor games. A lot of fucking Viktor games.
Viktor.
Holy. Harsh back. What? Why did it disappear? Come back.
It's been mostly Viktor.
Okay, so I think, why don't we choose a game like one with a bit of, maybe this one?
Let's see.
Yeah, what happened this game? Was this a reasonable game? Like, it looks like there's a few to choose from, or was this not really? Was it a bit weird? Because I see a 24 kill Jin, so it's like, yeah.
Like I remember we being stomped, and like the jungler didn't really had much to do that. But we can watch whatever. Like, I think the most important is my lane.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this would be a good one for laning because of the Malzahar. The only other one, well, this one also looks quite good. It's like reasonable length, and you have some mistakes. So there's this one as well.
Let's see. I think. Oh yeah, this one might be good because I had problems. Like, it's the first time facing a what's her name?
Lissandra?
Yeah, exactly. It's the first time facing a Lissandra, so I had a bit of trouble in the lane.
Alright, yeah, let's have a look at this one. I think this should be good. We might be able to get to both of them as well. Depends how long. I don't know if you've seen any of my other ones, but what I normally do is I like write up you a bunch of notes and like explain them at the end. Have you seen any of the other ones?
I'm sitting here with my paper, and I haven't actually.
Okay, I'll link you that after.
Yeah?
Yeah, actually, I'll just link it to you now. Maybe you can look later. Oh my god, why is it so loud? My ears.
I'm not hearing it. So.
Oh, okay, good. Well, yeah, I started posting a bunch of the VODs on there, so some of them will probably be useful. I don't know if I've posted any Viktor ones yet. No, I haven't. But I've done a lot of sessions, and so, yeah, if you ever want to check those out, could be useful to you.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so, can you see my mouse also? You can, right?
Yeah, I do see your mouse.
Alright, awesome. That's good. Okay, so Viktor versus Lissandra, pretty good matchup for you, I would say. And the scariest thing in this game is probably going to be at your level 6. Now, was there anything in your thing that you felt like you really struggle with? You say you struggle with consistency, finding a role, or carry angle. Is there anything like else you feel like is a problem, or you just like want to get some ideas, kind of?
So, like, what I feel like is sometimes I might have a bit of trouble itemizing. So with champs like, let's say, LeBlanc or Diana, or like champs that have very bursty damage or like jump on top of me.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like might like maybe build earlier magic resist to not like get obliterated.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, especially when I'm play Casio. Like, I remember there are two matchups that has been going really well until they buy like one item.
Yeah, then it gets hard. Yeah. Okay. Well, oh, you go.
No, it's Irelia with the MR buy.
Oh yeah, that champ's so annoying. Yeah.
And then it's Diana with like when she hits a certain level, and I just can't, like, if I can't dodge the Q, I'm dead, basically.
Yeah, okay. So I'd say in general, it depends what champ you're playing, because if you're versus like AP champs and they have CC, so if you're against something like LeBlanc and Diana where they've got some CC, you can rush Merc Treads, although that doesn't help you if you're playing Cassie, obviously, since you can't buy boots. But if they don't have CC and you're just worried about magic damage, you can actually just buy the Null Magic Mantle, like the 450 gold MR item. Like, sometimes I just buy that and sit on it, and sometimes I don't upgrade it, but then also, like, second item, you could look for something more defensive, like Banshee or Zonya's or something like that. But a lot of the time, you just need, like, a little bit of MR to kind of help you. So yeah, it's, like, hard to see without a specific game, but yeah, there are definitely defensive options available to you. So, like, yeah, Merc Treads, just Null Magic, in the mid-game, like, Banshees and Zonyas and stuff, but yeah, maybe we could look at just, like, your match history after, and just, like, look at the builds, so yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, now normally I would say in this lane, and I'd say most lanes is Viktor, you should start Q. And the reason is your E is not super mana efficient until you get 2 points in it. Like, You'll see a lot of Victors start Q. Oh, I need to make my Discord D&D because it's gonna spam me. There we go. Okay, so yeah, like most of the time you start Q, you can punish a lot more with it. It's got a shorter cooldown, costs a lot less mana. And Victors, they only use like maybe like 1 or 2 E's at level 2, because otherwise it's just like too much mana. But once you get 2 points in E, they pretty much just like use it on cooldown, because it's like at that point it does so much damage. So I'd say, yeah, this is like actually a pretty big problem because, well, I don't know, it's not as big as it should be. Yeah, it's like
I do it pretty much every time.
he doesn't have TP, so like maybe you can get through his harass before you run out of, I mean, sorry, his health before you run out of mana anyway. But yeah, if you're always starting E, I'd say it's a big problem. Normally Q is better. I guess the only, or not the only times, but the best times for E would be if for some reason you can't contest with Q at all level 1. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like what sort of matchup this would be. Maybe like, yeah, I'm not even sure any, because a lot of them that would trade back on you, you would prefer Q for the shield anyway. I am sure there are some where you start E, but off the top of my head, I can't think of them. But if I do, I'll just like let you know. I think, yeah, most of the time, Q style will be better. Now, in range versus range matchups, it's really, really important that you get push on the first few waves, and that's because in range versus range, it's like different to melee versus melee and like melee versus range, because you can harass each other from range at any point in the lane. So compared to say like, let's say like melee versus ranged, like the melee champs want it typically on their side and not to push it, because they're much better at like chasing people down. And then like in melee versus melee, again, it like sort of depends who wins extended trades, but for this matchup, and like because you always play range champs, this will be really important, is you're going to want to push because it's going to give you a minion advantage. It's going to give you level 2 first and level 3 first if you slow push the waves. And because like you're a range champion, you can still harass them under tower, whereas other champions might not be able to. So one thing that you can do to kind of cheese this, and actually something that works even in very high rank, like I use this even in pro play and a lot of people didn't catch on, is there's nothing stopping you from starting to order this wave right now. Like you can be positioned up here and start ordering this wave. You should be careful to do it a little bit too early, because like, okay, if you walked up to here at 1 minute, there's a chance that like someone wraps and kills you, right? But at say 120, unless the enemy's going to fight you for it, there's nothing stopping you from just ordering this creep. Right, and you could probably have 3, maybe 4 orders on it before it even hits here. So that will give you like, that gives you the 1 minion advantage that kind of allows you to slow push the lane. And then, hold on, let me just move this. Yeah, okay, and so then here, anyway, you should be looking to push. Like, it doesn't matter because he didn't contest the priority at all. But you do want to slow push this. You shouldn't fast push it. I'd maybe put a couple, or maybe like kill one of these creeps and then just sort of leave it. But the problem is right now you've given up a lot of pressure. Like he's the one pushing the lane, even though he loses the matchup. So yeah, pretty much like at the moment you have a non-existent laning phase. It just doesn't. You're not doing anything basically. And if you did start E, you would probably want to use it just to proc your mana flow, if nothing else. Especially when you're high mana. I can understand maybe you want to save it for when he goes for a CS, just to make it a little more guaranteed. And that's what you do with most mid lane skill shots. But I think Viktor E, it's like a bit more targeted, you know, like it's less of a skill shot than other ones because it's so hard to dodge, sort of. Like, I don't know if you feel that, but I feel like it's more up to the Viktor aiming the E rather than like the enemy dodging it, sort of thing. I think you can hit most of your E's if you aim it well.
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah. So
the thing with this matchup is I'm not really like, it's really the first time in very recent memory that I lane against Lissandra, so I'm like, I'm a bit hesitant.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I think no matter what range champ this is, pretty much all of them you would want to push. So like, I don't think any, like I can understand being like scared maybe and like not too sure of the matchup, but I think almost any champ, fundamentally you would want to be like using your E and like pushing this wave, and I don't think there's anything Lissandra specific. But if you did just feel kind of like, you know, worried about it, I guess like I can understand.
I see what you mean. It's like it's a fundamental.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not really champ specific. So here you use your E to get the creeps. If you are gonna miss all these creeps, I think it's right to use your E, but the problem is like it's so easy. You have so many opportunities, especially because you could have controlled this wave earlier, to make sure that you don't end up in the situation where you have to use this. In general, you want to be using your spells on your opponent and using your orders for CS until like okay, once you get like your Viktor upgrade, you know, and then you can just like start one-shotting waves. At that point, it's
Yeah,
fine. But if you want to pressure the lane phase, you really don't want to be using cooldowns on creeps because it's like, first off, this is a 12-second window where he gets free reign basically over the lane. Also, it costs mana, obviously. So, yeah, basically, it's just really it's like a passive play pretty much. It doesn't apply any pressure.
yeah,
Here, yeah. So this lane is already not in a great spot for you. I think, like you, yeah. Okay, like these are really bad. So,
I saw that. That was
yeah.
actually terrible. Yeah.
You literally just, I would say the easiest way to you get into the habit of doing this is just like try and make a rule for yourself that you're just like not going to use your abilities on the wave and you just try use your abilities when they go for like a creep or something. And other than that, like, okay, obviously there's times where you use it outside of that and like Victor E you can kind of use on cooldown, but just like to literally practice it and get out of this bad habit, just focus on something really simple at the moment. Good auto attack, actually, so that was nice. Like right here, you're hitting level 2 at basically the same time, whereas it should be like you're hitting level 2 before her, and she should already be like kind of, not low, but maybe like 70% health. Like she should be a little bit chunked.
Yeah.
And so the way Victors normally use their Q is they stand pretty aggressively, so you'd see Victors kind of stand like not on top of this creep, but a bit to the side, so that when they go to kind of like try and CS this creep, you can get a Q, like a Q auto on them, and it's just really hard to train into Viktor early because his shield is so strong, and also his abilities are essentially point and click. So yeah, Victor's 1v1 is absurd against other range champions. But yeah, basically over and over, just I'm not gonna like keep bringing it up, but just I guess the last time, the spells keep being used on the wave, and that's gonna make it really hard for you to snowball any early games because simply put, like, well, if you look at this, right? This is a winning matchup. You're playing a strong early game champion, and she's still full HP after like a full minute of laning. So yeah, this is going to be a big thing for you to work on, definitely. Okay, so we'll just kind of speed this up. Okay, now another thing I normally say is at around 230, normally you should ward the opposite side of where the jungler starts. So I'm going to say that now and put it in your notes, but I feel like you have much bigger things that you need to work on first, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I'll just explain to you like why it's important. So normally when junglers start on one side, so like let's say they start bot, right? Generally they do 3 camps and then cross to the other side, or they do 2 camps and cross to the other side. But basically you should, most games you should know that the enemy jungler will be on this top side at around 230. So if you drop a ward there, it protects you from any early pressure. Now this game, you don't have to worry too much because like Rengar can't pressure early game. Yeah, and also like you should have so much control over the wave that it's not a big deal. But yeah, eventually you should get into the habit of this, and I'll definitely put it in your notes. But we gotta actually worry about the laning first before we move on to other stuff. Yeah, you're kind of keeping the wave in the middle. I think this is not too bad now because at least now you can be ganked. But yeah, like, okay, here's another thing. So, you need to look to punish your opponent's cooldowns. So, a good way to do this is to, honestly, in loading screen, just look up your opponent and just see what cooldowns their spells are at like, when they've got 1 point in them. Just start at 1 point. So like, let's say Lissandra's Q, 8-second cooldown, right? So when Lissandra uses her Q here, her main trading tool, you have 8 seconds where unless you walk melee range of her, she can only trade on you with auto attacks. And you have all your spells up right now. If you just walk to her and QE'd autoed her, she loses probably like 200 HP because she wasted her Q here. So yeah, that's another opportunity. Like, okay, this is so insane by her. She's walking into you, into your minions, with no cooldown. It's just like actually insane. I mean, you can see how bad the trade goes for her, right? Like it was really troll by her, but also it was like she made that mistake. You didn't punish her for that mistake. She just did it to herself. Exactly. Yeah.
And I didn't keep ordering her.
Yeah, exactly.
I started ordering the minions instead.
So yeah, you naturally get less opportunities to harass if you're kind of shoved under tower like this. So it should be the other way around. But like there's nothing you can do about it now. Obviously it's like crashing, but it'll push back out. we're in a pretty even spot. So now this point in the lane is where you could, well, probably at level 3, I think this is where you could start just looking to E your opponent on cooldown. So you have like 400 mana still, and you have TP. So you can essentially think of this as like, you have like almost 2 mana bars right now, because you're also going to get another 3 corrupting potion like things if you base TP. And your E, 80 mana for 115 damage, and this guy, he has no sustain left. So you could probably just spam E this guy on cooldown, and he would be forced to base pretty soon. And I think if you played the lane like better earlier, you probably would have been able to kill him by now. But yeah, like you could still look to probably force them out of lane here. I think anyway. Guy comes. So yeah, you're doing a good job here of pushing in. Again, I'd like to see ease on him instead of on the wave. Like, you can actually see, right? He's half HP, even though you haven't attacked him pretty much at all. So if you'd just been attacking him the whole time, he'd probably be forced to base, like, a pretty long time ago. Now, this is really troll by him. Yeah, you just walk out of here. Okay, really nice. You get his Ignite for free. And he flashed, because Kha'Zix ganked him. So you're in a super good spot. What do you buy? You have gold for anything else? You have 400 more gold. Okay, so personally, now this is up to you. I would say this is like literally the strongest buy you could get right now in terms of like snowballing your lane, right? But the way you're playing right now is you're not really snowballing your lane. And personally, I would probably buy Darkseal instead of Amptome. Although I probably...
Okay.
Would I go for the Doran's Ring? I feel like I would have gone Darkseal Amptome rather than Doran's Ring Amptome. I'd probably go something like that. I think the Doran's Ring...
The way I think there is like if I feel like I'm really winning, I often go Darkseal. But if I feel like I'm trading a lot without really winning or like getting a kill, I prefer Doran's Ring.
Yeah, so I think...
I don't... Yeah?
Well, I think if you really know how to like punish your lane really well, this is probably the correct buy. But I think it's just you need to like just work on your laning fundamentals a bit more before you worry about getting... This is like the kind of thing that maybe gets you that extra like 1% that allows you to kill him, but it doesn't matter because right now you're missing the 50%, you know? So yeah, I think even for high level players, like, I don't know, if this were like a challenger versus challenger lane, maybe even then I would consider still going Darkseal. It would more be like if these were 2 pro players, I could see the Doran's Ring making the difference and being worth buying. Okay. But I think for you, it's like it's not even close to you being able to take full advantage of it. In general, I think in lower elo, you can favor scaling a little bit more than you do in high elo because people will make mistakes and allow you to scale, and also scaling is much easier to execute than playing like, you know, making sure you're taking every opportunity to snowball the game. Not that you shouldn't try, but I think you can like practice doing this while also still giving yourself a really high chance to win the game, you know? Like you can simultaneously practice like taking over the game and stuff like that, while also, you know, you don't have to build, say, the full early game Viktor build in order to practice it, sort of thing. So you TP back, that was good. You shoved this wave all the way in. I'd say you're ahead of your opponent right now, so you're in a really good spot. Also, I think you have a ton of mana, and she only has 1 HP pot, so she should be in a really, really rough spot now if you just, like, keep putting your E on her, basically. I think if you use your E on cooldown over and over, it's going to be very, very difficult for Lissandra to lane, and the only way she really gets help here is when Rengar hits level 6. So if you're not going to use your E on cooldown, definitely just look to use it when she goes for a creep. That'll make it so it's like literally, not literally, but 99% chance to hit. But I think you could use it on cooldown. But yeah, the problem is here, you're just not using it at all. And again, you're using a 90 mana ability to get like 1 CS. And yeah, it's just super, super low pressure. And to be honest, another reason is that if you're running first strike, you're also missing out on gold, you know? So
exactly.
There's like a lot of bad reasons, I guess. Yeah, like see this is good. Like if you'd kept doing that, like that was a very high value E because you hit 2 creeps and you hit her. Like that's the highest value thing you can get. And if you can get that more often, it would be super good. Now, at this point in the lane, it's really important that, well, at any point in the lane, but generally you have to hug to your vision to make sure you're safe. So if I go to like your vision right now, if you look at the map, you have quite a
I
lot of
should
vision
hug.
bot
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
You've got like 2 wards and you've got a jungler down here, but you're hugging towards the side where if Rengar were here, you have to flash. Like, but if you're down here, until Rengar hits 6, he can't do anything to you. So hugging the correct side of the wave, or the correct side of the map, or whatever, you know, correct side of the lane,
Yeah.
sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it'll, okay, now you're doing it. I'm not sure if you're doing it consciously, so it's kind of like, if you know, you need to be accountable to yourself here. Like, if you're doing it consciously, then that's good. If you're just doing it randomly, that's bad, and it'll be something you'll have to work on. Again, same thing, just using ease on creep. Oh, you go, sorry.
No, I think I am, because I'm aware that I should hug that side.
Yeah,
I just think that like mindlessly, I find myself kiting to one direction,
yeah,
and when I realize it, I try to like walk back. But
okay.
yeah, I shouldn't be, because if, as you say, if he was in the bush, he could jump on me there.
Yeah,
So
no, that's good. At least you're mindful of it and like you realize it's a thing. So that's good because it'll mean that, yeah, like right here, if it had happened to you, you would probably realize that it wouldn't be that great. You obviously, now Lissandra runs bot and you just punish by pushing mid. See, I think this is actually a good E because like you want to get this wave shoved under tower while she's roaming.
yeah,
So I don't mind that E. It's just more that like all the other ones were kind of bad. So she
I
goes on you here.
think I die. I think I, or no.
Okay, so when she does this, I think you should alter straight away, pretty much. So I
Yeah.
think if Lissandra ever E's into you, okay, I think the reason she E'd into you was because you wasted your W. So it's like sort of arguable about whether you should use this or not. But definitely, if Lissandra E's on you, she probably, I'm pretty sure she has to ult herself here. If you just like ult, chase her down with Q and E, but instead you kind of let her go for free. And so it's another situation where she just burned all her cooldowns and you're the one walking away. So it can be, I think this was something that maybe I thought when I was a bit new to the game. But it's like, yeah, if someone trades on you like this, it can be scary, right? Because you just took a bunch of damage. But in reality, this is like the best time to harass back. And like you have to harass back. Otherwise you just get kind of owned, you know? This is like, you know, if this is WoW, Lissandra just popped your trinket and your rogue's like ready to fucking one-shot her and you just don't go, you know? You just walk away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's a really missed opportunity. Okay, walk around. Here, should just keep spamming E's on her. Now, here's something I actually like. At this point in the lane, I kind of like you keeping the wave in the middle. I think the rest of the lane, you should have been pushing it. But now, when by this time, like, Rengar could probably be level 6, I think pushing under her tower is very, very risky. So again, I don't think you're doing this consciously because, like, you weren't pushing the rest of the time.
No, exactly.
But yeah, like this would be a good situation to not push and to keep it in the middle. So, you know, this is a good situation for that. Now, okay, this was like really good. So it's kind of weird that you make this move right now because I feel like, okay, punishing someone when they go for CS with like, with cooldowns, I'd say is like, it's like a mid-level thing, right? But punishing someone when they go for CS while they're on cooldown with an auto attack, this is like, this right here, okay, the rest of the game, say what you want around the rest of the game, this is a challenger level move right here. Like this 3-second window, you played really well. I just want to like let you know that because it was really sick. So this is like very high level move and it's like weird that you see this and not the more basic one. So that's kind of, I'm not sure why you did that. That was like very interesting, but it was a good play. And if you'd done that like every time, obviously it would add up. But you've got to like master the basics first before you worry about the challenger level
laning. I think the
laning.
problem is why I'm so cautious with my E early on. I think that many games that I have done it and I've just run out of mana.
Yeah.
And like because of that, thought it was a bad choice. But I think I ran out of mana because maybe, as you said, I used my E before it was level 2 too much.
Yeah, it could also be that like maybe in the other games you're splitting your E, like sometimes you're using it on creeps and sometimes you're using it on them, and that means you don't quite have enough. Also, another thing I'll just like quickly bring up is if you are against a champion that can't really harass you back that well, so Lissandra is one of them, you can actually start Doran's Ring instead of Corrupting Pot if you want. That'll just give you more mana. It's a bit it's again like maybe you prefer the corrupting potion so that you can kind of like mess up some trades and still like have a lot of sustain. But I think
Yeah.
if you know that you're not going to take damage back, like on average, Doran's Ring is definitely the strongest starting item if you just want to like really hard punish your opponent. This was good here. I think if your W is a little better placed, you probably kill her. Because I think, like, okay, she doesn't have flash. So I think here, you just move into her and place your, or you wait for Kha'Zix, but you just place your W past her, but instead you kind of place it like on her. Because I think if she gets stunned, she dies for a start. So she should have to E to get out of this, and then I think you could follow her with flash. Kha'Zix also has flash. So I think this should be a kill. It's like, it's still pretty good. Like, oftentimes, if you can chunk out your opponent, it's almost as good as a kill because they'll be forced to base. But in this case, you're forced to base first because you've actually run out of mana. So, yeah, it ends up not translating into anything when it could have translated into quite a lot. But you have your chapter now, so at this point in the lane, there really is no excuse not to just be like trading with your E on cooldown because like now it's lower cooldown, it does a ton of damage, and you have basically infinite mana. Also, you're about to get your upgrade as well, so... now here, I would say... I could understand maybe not being aggressive on this wave, because again, you're scared of Rengar, but I think you have Kha'Zix sort of close by, and if you hugged in this area, you'd probably be safe. And also, yeah, like hugging the wrong side, so that's kind of been a big problem. This guy goes on you. Now, let's see how this happened.
Yeah, I think I die here.
Okay, so you use your E, 8-second cooldown. Okay.
I move forward.
Yeah, the problem is your E cooldown, like you have no E, you have no R, and you're playing like you do. I think here, if you'd use your W better, I think you live. But either way, you're gonna get chunked really low, so, you know, it's almost as bad as dying here anyway. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so this sucks. Like, obviously, after this, you're insanely far behind because you used Flash, which means you're probably going to die again. You lose this entire wave. Lissandra got a kill. Yeah. It's just like, you know, yeah, this is just horrible. Yeah, it sucks. So yeah, I think cooldowns will be a big thing for you, both like your cooldowns and your opponent's cooldowns. Pushing this in is good. Lissandra died, so this is all really good. You're punishing correctly here. Now here, what I'd probably do, I think you actually back off too much. So I think what you should do is with your priority here, you should probably ward over this wall just to get a bit of like extra vision on Rengar, because Rengar is one of those champs where like, if you have a ward here against Rengar, it's too late. You know, like by the time Rengar gets here, you're probably dead. But wards on camps are very useful against Rengar and against like most junglers, to be fair. And also like because Lissandra only just spawned, you should be able to take this tower plate. The only reason not to would be if you're basing, but like I don't think you're basing and you don't really want to roam. So I'm not too sure what you're doing here. It looks like you're just doing nothing basically. I guess maybe you're scared of Rengar, but you don't need to be. You know, like you should be safe here. That would have been a turret plate. Oh wait, you don't have your upgrade. I forgot it's 100. He goes on to you. Okay, see, this was a good... that was a really good W. Like, that time, you used it before she, you know, even got there, and it was like she came out of the claw right into your W, so that was really smart, and you can see that, like, despite you being a little bit behind in the lane, that turns into a pretty good trade, and I think if you were the one ahead, she would probably die there. So, yeah, it's like you're too far behind, really, to kind of kill her off it, but still pretty good. E could have been aimed a bit better to get that creep and to hit her.
I think I need to be more aggressive with my E's.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, because I probably do this other games even when it goes well. I probably E far too little on the opponent.
Yeah, there's another one. That one just missed. Don't mind that one. Just gonna watch this on 4 times for a bit. This is all fine, you're just trading farm, which is like, okay, like you could have snowballed the early game, but also coming out of the early game pretty much even as Viktor is always going to be good, you know, like you scale really well, but it's like Viktor also has the tools to be way ahead rather than just be even. You TP bot? Is this good?
No, I don't know. It's way too late either way.
Yeah, I actually think if you did want this wave, you could just walk here, But yeah, looks like
I
you
think
just
I'm gonna
invest your
take the
TP for
wave.
nothing. I think you should, yeah, I think you should. Yeah, so I think you probably just walk mid there, but honestly, it's not that bad. Like, you can't use your TP that well on Viktor anyway. It's not really like a champ that flanks, so using your TP to get farm is not bad. Like, maybe there's a little more optimal uses for it, but it's like, it's fine. I think it's fine. Come back mid, get some CS. Actually curious to see your gold. So you're down 700 gold to Lissandra, which is kind of significant, but it is sort of okay, because you do scale quite well. Kier's probably just going to be like AFK farming for a while. I don't think there's much you can do. I think this is kind of good. Again, I'm not sure you did this on purpose, but I'll just talk about it. So roaming on Viktor normally sucks, right? But like the wave hasn't even passed your tier 3 tower yet, so you have a lot of time. So coming down here and then like basing, and then this is good, right? Because like you're still going to get here in time, and also then realizing that once Rengar shows here, you can actually cancel your base and counter game. This is good. This is another play that I would say is like quite high level and quite smart. So you come down here.
Well, I play with my screen unlocked, and I often look at something while I'm basing.
Yeah,
So
that's really good.
looked there because they were pushed up.
Yeah, no, that's really good. You come bot, you probably get a kill on this guy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, and that guy dies. I think you probably could have used your skills quite a bit better here. Like, I think just
yeah, because he was in the bush, and I used the W inside the bush.
Yeah.
And just jumped out, basically.
Yeah, it's like, let's see. So you use
like
W.
Even there.
I think also, I don't think you need to ult here. I think your ult, like, yeah, it does like no damage. I think, like, imagine if Lissandra comes up here and you still have W and ult. You can probably save Kha'Zix. I'm not sure you can kill her if she plays it well. Like, she can probably just back out, but yeah. So the kind of, ooh, wait, what just happened? I skipped ahead too quick.
She kept fighting. I'm not sure if I die here. I might.
You're tanking a lot of creeps and the passive. Yes. Okay, nice. Wow, really good flash. Like, you definitely flashed that well.
I think I died.
Yeah, nice.
No.
You played that well. So you played the end of that well. Just the start of it wasn't that great, but you played the end of it pretty well. Come back mid. This is all fine. Okay, here, I think you should probably take these raptors. So Kha'Zix is pathing top right now, so he's deciding not to farm this camp. You don't have anything better to do right now other than just come kill this. Viktor's one of the best champs at farming camps, so you can literally just come here, W this, and then E it, and you'll kill all of them basically. That's like an extra 100 gold or something that is sitting right here for you, that you could definitely grab.
Yeah, that I should definitely do.
I think again you're kind of punished for poor W usage.
Yeah.
Let's see. You use E. Yeah, the W is just not placed correctly. Also, I think you... You did make quite aggressive moves. Like, let's see. So, like, right here, your E is on cooldown. So you don't have... And your R is on cooldown. So you don't have great trades. But this is fine, right? Like, I think you use your W here, and you Q, and you can walk out. But the problem is, again, 0 cooldowns. Like, literally no cooldowns across the board.
Yeah.
And you're still walking into her, which I think is the only reason she can kill you here. And, you know, I don't think she would have killed you without a team anyway, but it was just a very aggressive move that, like, you couldn't back up, basically. You didn't have the skills ready to make sure that would actually work.
Yeah, I might have been out of ult range if I backed up faster.
Yeah, I think definitely. I'm not sure. I don't think she had... No, she flashed on you bot, so she definitely didn't have flash. She wouldn't have been able to get on you there. Push mid. I think this is... Let's go back. Now, generally, you don't want to share farm with your AD carry, but you can't really walk to this bot wave yet. So I think you're fine to be here at the moment. But I think after this wave, you should think about going bot to collect this wave. You have TP, so if a fight breaks out here, you can get back to it. But yeah, I think here I would probably walk down and farm this. The only thing you would maybe need to be like careful of is walking into Rengar here. But I think it's pretty unlikely, and I think if you were it would just be too much respect, I think, to just, you know, play like Rengars in literally every bush. I think you could walk down here and get this probably. And then worst case, like you TP back to the fight if there is one. But like right now you're just sharing golden XP with everyone else. Rengar tries something, doesn't really work. Now I think if you do stay here this long, you should TP to this. Because like right now, this is like another 100 gold and like, yeah, another one here that you're gonna miss. And you're just like sieging a tower and like, yeah, I don't know. It's basically a waste of time. And yeah, you just don't get any gold or XP for like a really long time here. This whole time, bot waves have been dying and you haven't farmed any of them. It puts like both you and Ezreal behind. So it's really, really bad. Now you base and go bot, which is better than not going bot at all, but it's you know, it's very late. So that, I mean, at least you came here eventually. Is this guy cheesing you? I'm gonna cheat and have a look. Yeah, he is.
I think she does.
Yeah, okay, so you check this bush with E, and you have Senna with you.
I think I die. I think she just one-shots me. Or no, maybe we turn this. No, I die.
I actually think you had a lot of windows to outplay this, so let me just...
Yeah, I misused my ult, like, terribly.
Let's see, so... I think with Senna, I wouldn't normally expect this guy to be here, but okay, he is. So I think... yeah, right now, I think if you... Well, especially if you Q, like, you're rooted, not stunned at this point. I think you could have Q'd him for the shield, and I think what you do here is you drop every ability on him that's not W, and then save the W for if he goes on you again. And then I think also here, you have time to Q him, and if you Q him, you live. Like, there's no way this gets through a 240 magic damage shield. Yeah, this only does 320 damage, and you've got extra HP and MR. So, yeah, there's no way he should be able to kill you there if you use your skills better. So that should be another free kill.
Yeah.
Now, you're going Lichbane second, which is fine, but I think in this game, you probably need Zhonya's, because they have 2 dive champions, like Rengar, actually they have 3, Rengar, Lissandra, and Kai'Sa. I think Zhonya's second would be a lot better than Lichbane. Lichbane's quite good if like the movement speed's gonna do a lot for you. So if you're like kiting champions out or you have like really extended fights, but this game, I don't think... I mean, like, Lichbane's never a bad item. It's just like they're a... Like, you kind of need other items in order to make sure you do damage. Now, let's go back here. So, as a general rule, you want to kind of be grouped for dragons about like 45 to 30 seconds beforehand. So,
yeah,
taking the blue, I think, is maybe fine, but the problem is that you end up, the dragon is spawning in 10 seconds, and you're top lane with no TP, so there's no way you can get to this fight. And now your team is forced to play a 4v5, and I think, like your team is even in gold, and to be honest, you might be, maybe not yet, but you're like pretty close to Lissandra's like impact in a team fight by now, right? Like, you're starting to outscale. I don't think you're quite there, but you're definitely not useless in a team fight, right? Like, you're pretty strong. So this is the kind of play you make if you can't team fight at all, but instead, oh wow, she managed to steal it. But yeah, instead, it's like you're playing really far away from your team, and this is a really good play if you can't fight this. But I think if you're here, your team probably wins this. Like, look how low these people are. If you're here with like E's and R's, it would be good. You get missing ping, sort of justified. I think like definitely should be there. Although, to be fair, in terms of a trade, I think you did pretty much as well as you could. Like, you denied a lot of stuff here. Maybe the only thing you could do better is you could take these Krugs, but they spawned while you were basing, so, you know, I kind of understand it. I mean, you got a lot of gold for yourself.
My pattern was, since our Kha'Zix was dead, I didn't think we were going to 4v5 them.
Yeah.
But as you say now, we probably could have put up a fight.
Yeah, I think that is sort of fair. I think probably the reason you can know this is like what they used to kill Kha'Zix. So I don't know if it was pinged, but like to kill this Kha'Zix, they've used like Rengar ult, which is one of the main threats to you, like your Ezreal and to you in team fights. So basically, probably their biggest threat to you is gone, which is why I think you should be able to 4v5 this. But yeah, I guess I can agree as a rule that like looking for a 4v5 fight is bad. But also, it's like even before Kha'Zix died, like I think you should be around here anyway. You know, like you're not even positioned to be here anyway. So yeah, you come back on the map. This is after they get dragged. Oh, how did you end up in this situation? You walk mid at a base, which is fine because you have nothing else. Actually, no, it's not. Let's see. Taking
Could have
wolves
gone.
is fine. Yeah, I think here you probably run bot and you let Ezreal farm this next wave. So again, it's like you deny CS to Ezreal and
Yeah.
Kha'Zix ends up farming bot, and like gold on Kha'Zix at this stage of the game is just not as valuable as it is on you or Ezreal, so the assignments end up really just like messed up here, pretty much.
I think I die? No. Yeah, maybe. I flash.
Yeah. Okay. So you have no flash. It's gonna be quite hard for you to play a team fight now because you have like no flash, no Zonya. So you're gonna have to play like quite well on your range, I think. I think the W was good. Oh my god, you do so much damage actually. It's kind of crazy.
That's why I like to build Lichbane.
Yeah.
Because like if they don't have a lot of tanks, my Qs chunk so much.
Yeah, I think Shadow Flame might even be better for you this game though in terms of damage, just because you're like the solo AP on the team. Until like later in the game, like where Lichbane just like scales better with AP. I think you played this team fight pretty well. Like you played on your range, and this was actually nice because this was a hard team fight for you. I think you didn't really have many tools. You know, you had no Zonya, you had no flash, but you managed to live and you did quite a lot of damage. You used your WL, so overall, I'm happy with how you played the team fight. Now, like this is good. You're here for when Dragon spawns. It was a 1-for-1. Kha'Zix died. You guys killed Brand. Yora died for free. That sort of sucks. Could you have been here any earlier? So what happened? I just need to go back a lot. So after this, you come and push top. Dragon's in 1 minute, but I think this is still correct. Yeah, I think you push this wave. Instantly base. Yeah, okay. I don't think you really could have been here any sooner. I think it's kind of like your team's bad in this case. Fighting a bit too early, so I don't think this was really your fault. Maybe you could backping them a little more, but like it's solo queue, right? Like, are they really gonna listen to you? Like, who knows? To be honest, they might not.
Yeah, maybe I should at least try. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
I posture a bit aggressive.
No, I think this is good. This is really good. So you should again know that after this Kha'Zix has died, all their threats are gone. Like, maybe you didn't see in the team fight, but if we look at it, like here, no Urgot ult, no Rengar ult, no Lissandra. Actually, they just have no ults. So, like, right now, despite you being 1-3, you're, like, the strongest champion on the map right now because you just have, like, you have your cooldowns up and your full HP. This guy walks into you. The only thing here is, like, you could maybe kite this a bit further back. I don't think you need to take so much damage, but I like that you played really aggressively here. You guys get a kill. That's really good. Come down here. Match this guy on the wave.
I think I'm not really tracking, like, I'm watching them fight, but I'm not really aware of the ability being used.
Yeah, I think one thing to kind of get in the habit of, again, we'll put it in the notes at the end, but like thinking about what cooldowns are most important. Like, it's really hard to think about every cooldown in the game, right? But I think, like, for example, if in this game, all you did was keep track of like Lissandra ult and Rengar ult, that would make like a huge difference to your team fights, because those are like the rest of the abilities, like, they matter, but these are the two ones that get you killed if you disrespect them. So yeah, if you can just like start off with tracking a couple cooldowns, and then you'll just get better at doing the rest. You played that really well. This was really nice, by the way, because unlike that fight where you just fought that Rengar, I mean, not the Rengar, when you fought that Urgot, right, you kind of played melee range with him, but here you played your range really nicely. Like, this is so smart. Really well played here. Because if you'd walked into this Lissandra, you probably would have died before you killed her. So yeah, that was really good. You played on your range really nicely.
I think I died. Yeah, I died.
That is kind of surprising. I guess this guy's just... He is quite strong, I suppose. And you are pretty low. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really mind the death. I think... Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe better if you don't go for the 1-for-1, because I think you could be more useful here than Kai'Sa. But I think it's not too bad a death. And I feel like it's also sort of a product of what happened before, where like you took a bit too much damage here, and also you're just weaker than you should be. Like, imagine if you're stronger here, you didn't take the damage, like this wouldn't be close at all, you know? It's just like you've put yourself kind of in a skill check situation where you didn't really need to, but also like if you'd done stuff better before, you wouldn't have even, it wouldn't have even been a skill check. You just would have one-shot him and that would be it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought my Q, like, my reasoning there was I thought my Q would kill her before she would kill me. But
Well, I think you did. The problem is that the Kaiser missiles still hit after she dies, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
It's pretty
yeah,
annoying. But you're so strong. Um, yeah, you're really, really strong. You come bot, you push this. This is really good. This is quite, yeah, this is quite good. You found, okay, yeah, like all this is pretty good. Coming to the fight. Now, I think you maybe should have TP'd at this. One thing you should think about is that your TP as Viktor is not that valuable. You know, it's like not something you really need to hold on to. So if you see an
yeah,
opportunity, like even, okay, maybe, okay, yeah, maybe TPing from here to here is not good. But maybe what you could have done is you could have kept pushing. Like after you saw Rengar here, maybe you could have kept pushing and then looked for a TP from here. Yeah,
yeah.
because I think
That would have saved
starting
time.
to move here is good. Yeah, okay. I'm definitely wrong. I don't think you should TP from here to here. But anyway,
No, but I see what you mean. I
yeah,
think you
if you'd
kept
been
pushing.
bot, it probably would have been good. Yeah, but you get to this fight in time. Kaiser's not here, so this should be a really good fight for you.
I die.
Ooh. Now I think this was okay.
It's my bad
Yeah, I think
because I'm really close. Like if I pass it towards the pit to the left, I would have been safe to use my abilities and ult. But instead, I kited towards the bush.
yeah, I think you have a lot of options. Like you can either walk here and play behind the team, or you could just like
Yeah,
you could W this bush and just E it from range and just move back. And Rengar can't jump on you and he's forced to run away. Because like the thing
yeah.
is, you just make a really aggressive move into the bush, and then it's like, okay, yeah,
Too
Rengar's just
late.
gonna one-shot me. Also, if you had Zhonya's, maybe it's a bit more forgiving, but ultimately, like even if you have Zhonya's, you probably die if you walk melee range. Oops, I did not mean to back up.
Yeah, yeah,
Oops, I did not mean to do that. Let me skip forward again. Oh, I just 8 times it. So yeah, you just kind of got punished for the greedy play there. And then
yeah.
I think that is pretty much it. I
I
don't
think
think
it's
there's...
GG from there.
Yeah. Okay, so the biggest thing for you is definitely your early game. I think like you have a lot of stuff to work on, so I'm just going to call this Viktor versus Lissandra coaching. Oh, I did do a Viktor versus Ari. What was that I did? Viktor? Yeah, Viktor versus Ari. So maybe I'll upload that as well. It'll be useful for you. Viktor versus
Yeah,
Lissandra coaching. So for you, the early game, definitely the biggest part. Yeah, just basically everything around trading and wave control. This is very, very broad, and I'm definitely going to break it down for you. But as a broad
yeah.
concept, like, I don't know if you've watched my laning guide, but I would, if you haven't, I would pay
I've
particular attention
listened
to
to it
these.
while I do other things.
Yeah, okay. So I would literally just like, you don't have to watch the whole thing, like, it's really long, right? And it's a lot to take in. But I would just
Yeah,
skip to these, like, definitely the wave control, talking about like the 3-wave crash and stuff, and just like, I think that's only like a couple minutes on that section, so that would be good. So you're trading, so like, just like using your cooldowns on your opponents, like when they go for CS. And then I think also another thing with that is thinking about cooldowns. So like, yeah, just like your cooldowns and enemy cooldowns and playing, I'm gonna say playing accordingly. So it's like if your enemy has full cooldowns and you have none, like but you're still moving aggressively, like that's really bad, right? So you need to think
yeah,
about like the cooldowns and stuff like that. Wave control, I think generally in range versus range, especially as Viktor when you're strong in the early game, you want to push most of, not all the time, but like a lot of the time, you want to like definitely the first 3 waves. But anyway, you want to be like pushing and be more aggressive. Your warding slash hugging later on definitely needs to be fixed. So to give you kind of an easy way to do this, I would say like if you ward at 230 on the opposite side of where the jungler started, or even just ward to like any of the sides, to be honest, and just hug
yeah,
towards it, that'll make you safe from any early ganks. And then after that, just make sure you're, I'm gonna put 230 ward, just like try and be very conscious about hugging to vision slash jungler, or just like safety, you know, wherever you're safe. Um,
yeah.
Another thing for the, let's see, was there any other big things in the early game? I feel like these were the big things, but they're also like giant things, you know?
So I wrote down. Let's see. Range versus range. Get pushed. In parentheses often. Please start ulting minion while it gets to
Oh
lane.
yeah. Yeah.
Abilities on enemies, autos on minions, ward 230, opposite side of jungle start, punish CDs, Dorans versus Dark Seal, more often than not Dark Seal.
Oh yeah. It's good that you took
Thinking about
notes because
some of
I always
those.
forget about stuff at the very end, you know.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I like taking notes.
Okay, well I think that was most of the stuff for the early game. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? Oh, maybe the other thing was like using your prio better. So whenever you push in a wave, right,
Yeah,
you
right.
get like a
Yeah,
window to do something. So it's like farm camps, hit plates, it's like roam, it's like base. There's a lot of stuff you can do, but right now you just kind of walk around doing nothing. So a good habit to get into is like before you push in the wave, like as you're pushing it, think about what I'm gonna use this for and try and like generally one wave of prior means you get to do one thing. So like you push the wave in, okay, on this wave of prior, on this wave of priority, if you didn't know what that meant, I'm like assuming, but anyway, so
yeah,
on this wave of prior, I can use this to farm raptors, and then I go back to mid, or I can get like a deep ward, and then I go back to mid. So that sort of thing. I think that like these things, there's not that many of them listed, but these are like big concepts, you know, and they will make a really
yeah,
big difference to your game. In the mid game, I think you did pick up quite a bit of farm. I'd say like grouping before dragon should be a thing for you because like there are a lot of those key objective fights that you're not at.
yeah,
Um, I also think maybe the itemization, like I think you could probably take Zhonya's. It's not like you shouldn't always buy these for sure. Like I think it's better to go damage items, but there are some
yeah,
games where you just need them, and I think this is probably one of them. I think another thing would be identifying like key teamfight cooldowns. So for you, like the Lissandra R and the Rengar R are gonna be like super big. So yeah, there's
yeah.
those. Was there anything else in the mid game? I feel like, oh yeah, there were definitely some times in, well, in team
I
fights and
mean,
in
I
the
feel
games.
like
Oh,
my
you go.
W usage
Yeah,
were a
actually
bit
true.
off
Probably for
throughout
the
the
whole
game.
game, yeah, your W usage
Yeah,
was sort of poor, and I think maybe you should think about more like playing on your range. Like, there's a lot of times where you're, yeah, I just can't speak English. There's a lot of times when you're playing sort of like melee range Victor rather than like using your really long E to harass because there's sometimes where yes, if you use your Q, it's higher damage, but by using your Q, you put yourself like within their range, right? Whereas if you're just
yeah,
like throwing out E's on cooldown, a lot of the time they can't kill you, and you'll just eventually poke them down. And then when they get low, then you can kind of move in. So I think playing on your range slash spacing is a big thing for you as well. Like don't just play melee range Victor. But yeah, I think those were the biggest things to be honest. And there's a lot to work on. So I would
of
say
course.
for you, the biggest things like to work on right now is definitely just like use your abilities on enemies in lane. Like, yeah. So right now you're not even you're just like playing sort of like PvE in the lane phase, right? It's
Yeah,
not really like PvP for you. And so this is like the biggest thing. And to practice, just like set yourself a rule that you won't use abilities on creeps. Like literally, even though it'll sometimes be optimal to do it, just play a game where you refuse to use abilities on creeps and just like always use them on your opponent. And I think you'll see a huge difference in your laning phase. There's so many times where
yeah,
you could just be eating them. And doing a lot of that, you know, like a lot of damage to them. I think also the wave control, definitely in the first three waves, if you can just get the first three waves right of like, I'll just put like three wave crash. This is in my laning guide, and well, I'll just quickly explain it. So basically the way this works normally is that if you get a 1 creep advantage at level 1, you can slow push the first 2 and sometimes 3 depending on how much you can test the wave. So
yeah,
push them into his tower. And what that does is it gives you like a minion advantage, which you can trade with, so that if you trade autos, he takes more damage because you have more range creeps. It also means that you hit level 2 and level 3 first, so then you can like fight him level 2 to level 1 or level 3 to level 2. So those are like good winners, and I think also after that, after it crashes, it'll push back to you, and then you'll kind of be safe from ganks and stuff. So if you can just get your first 3 waves right, that'll make a big difference as well. I think it's too ambitious for you at the moment to just work on the wave control for your whole lane, but
yeah,
definitely get this first 3 waves down. And then I think, yeah, in the mid game, I think that the grouping before dragon thing will be big. The grouping before
yeah,
dragon and the key team fight cooldowns, I think these are definitely the biggest things to work on. So for this, set yourself a rule, try base 1 minute before dragon spawns, and then be grouped like 30 seconds before or something. And then finally, the key team fight cooldowns. You could even do this in champ select or like loading screen. So like loading screen, just like, I don't know, just like identify / check like the 3 most important cooldowns. And it's not always going to be ults, by the way. It might be something like
Yeah.
Blitzcrank Hook or RE Charm. You know, there'll be some things that you might have to wait out until they're used. And to be honest, like I think at a high level, there's like a lot of cooldowns you can think about. Because if we kind of like look at this team, we've got like potentially Urgot ult, Urgot flash E, Ranger ult, Lissandra flash W, Lissandra ult, you know, like brand stun. So there's like a lot to think about, right? But you're not at that level yet. You need to focus on some basics. But yeah, I think you have like really good stuff to work on, and I think you have played most of the game. Like, I don't know, you have some parts of the game that you play really well, but then you have other parts of the game that you play like pretty badly. So it should be that if you bring up these kind of like bad parts of your game, you should see like a really big improvement because you've already got like good stuff in other areas. So yeah, if you have any questions like right now, obviously you can ask me if you want.
Well, yeah, I think you can see what I mean with like consistency, because
Yeah.
like if I do play my lane like better, or like like a bit better than that, I see a much better result in the game. But than the next game, like I do not play it better because like if I get away with the mistakes that I do in the early game, uh, I tend to see better results.
Yeah, exactly.
But in this game, like I didn't get away with it, so I got pretty punished. This could definitely been like when I played it, I didn't think so, but when I rewatch it now with you, I definitely think I could have carried this game a bit
Yeah, for
better.
sure. And I think also these sort of things, they're things that will happen every single game. So it's like if you can fix these, it doesn't just help you like, you know, 1 in every 5 games. This literally like affects every single game you're going to play for like the rest of your league career, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's going to be important all the time. So they're really fundamental skills that will, you know, they'll take a while to learn, but yeah, they'll make a lot of games like more winnable for you for sure.
So yeah, I'm not gonna take any more of your time. It's been 60 minutes. I
Yeah.
appreciate. It's the first time I get a coaching,
Okay, cool.
and yeah, it was super insightful, and it was very good pointers.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm glad for that. Obviously, if you have, oh, I'll actually copy this to you on Discord so that you have it. Although you have your own notes, so maybe you don't need them. But I normally just send them to people, so it's up to you if you want to use that or not.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Do you mind if I post it publicly? If you want it private, that's completely fine. But up to you.
No, you can use it as content.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think that's it. Again, if you have any questions like implementing it or you just like have problems or whatever, just message me every time, anytime. I normally respond like within, I don't know, like 8 hours or something. I don't know. I don't have much of a
Yeah.
life, you know? So yeah. All right, cool, man.
No, but yeah, I wish you the best of luck. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. See you later.